Good morning, everybody. This is Michael coming to you from GammaEdge on Thursday, March 27th with our pre-market morning strategy and briefing session. As always here at GammaEdge, we start with our three pillars: sentiment, structure, and trend. We're currently looking at the market trend model from yesterday. This is basically a simplistic form. It's based on the tick, which is industry standard buying versus selling of market participants. The bolded white line is our instantaneous CT. This is obviously indicating intraday buying versus selling. We talked about the consolidation and possible weakness yesterday once we collapsed below the moving averages. And then once we moved to the downside very quickly, we saw this rapid linear down, which is a selling look. We did penetrate the ribbon, the colored ribbon, which is our longer term look. Below, so obviously indicating more weakness. There's more more selling versus buying in overall market participants. And then really after the 12 o'clock hour on this filtered cumulative tick, this is our plus 1,000, minus 1,000. Larger orders. We saw this really pick up to the downside. Obviously, the increased selling here, and then overall our market breadth indicator up here. We really saw the new lows, which is the red, continue to outpace the new highs, and we've seen that for multiple days in a row now, indicating that more stocks are being sold versus more stocks being bought. So what we'll watch for today is, if you're a bull, you want to see the CT start to base and then turn back to the upside, obviously crossing back above these shorter term moving averages. We're still under the colored ribbon, so that is still a bearish state. So we would look for any move back up to most likely be prone to failure, as we discuss here at GammaEdge. But we'll continue to watch this intraday. If we do continue to see more selling, then we'd see some sort of linear to the downside. But if we do see some basing, then there's an opportunity for us to move back to the upside. And then obviously monitoring the filtered cumulative tick, you want to see it at least live above zero and then go to the positive side, indicating that institutions are getting involved via buying versus more selling. So moving on to the SPY delta balance history. We spoke about this yesterday, that there might be some weakness projected on out in time. Obviously, each one of these lines is indicating the left-hand plane, which is below spot price, and the right-hand plane. This is just indicating positioning of market participants. And obviously, we see that dropping below the zero line is a more bearish state, indicating we are more put dominated. Above and below where spot price is. So the projection, again, delta balance, which is the blue line, traversing on out in time towards -1, is more put dominated versus call dominated. So obviously this is a more weakened look. SPX, or sorry, the GEX ratio for the SPX. We talked about it living below 1, so this is this is like a put call ratio, but adds time and gamma. So this is shorter dated put gamma is obviously controlling the complex, which obviously is more bearish when you have shorter dated puts, again controlling the complex. So we did see that flatten out. And then we saw the weakness yesterday. We do not really see the increase in the GEX ratio, so really it's status quo, living below the 1 line. So again, puts are in control versus calls. So we would anticipate at least sideways action to more weakness, unless this starts to change back to the upside, which would indicate call speculators are overcoming the put speculators, and we have more positive gamma coming into the complex, which would be via calls opening and not puts. The delta balance for the SPX, we talked about this also, that we were kind of going sideways. The out of the money call speculators were really not coming in mass. We did have a little bit of projection that was a little higher yesterday on out in time, but that quickly reversed. And now we're seeing this really kind of go above zero and try to live above zero, but it's really a weak above zero. And you see the individual planes, which is the left-hand plane below spot price, and more put gamma or put controlled, versus the right-hand plane out of the money speculation, which is the positive gamma or call speculation. So we continue to see kind of sideways to the zero line here, really not crossing above zero, which you'd want to see this really start to cross above zero with both planes, and the delta balance really start towards the +1 if we're going to have a significant upside move in the overall market. So we're seeing really a separation here of the SPY being very weak, the SPX being slightly more favorable, but not really significantly more favorable. So Moving on to the SPX net stat command. I'll look at the web app also here in just a minute, but just an overall view, there was a great commentary in the voice chat if you scroll back yesterday towards the end of the day by a couple of our members about how they use the netstat command and how they look at the netstat command. Right-hand plane strike, obviously we see this just a quick glance. What this means is there's in the money puts overhead at that 57.30 strike. This will continue to be a ceiling, difficult for spot price to push up because we have a significant amount of negative delta. And we also have in the money puts also with via charm. You see that is significantly more than what the out of the money puts are here. So that will be difficult to move up as we move throughout the day. These in the money puts at the 57.30 level will just continue to grow as the charm continues throughout the day as time and the deltas just continue to grow overhead. So it will be difficult for spot price to move above that 57.30 level. And we'll show you in a minute on the transition levels also. So when we have a confluence of that right-hand plane, we really have a line in the sand and a goalpost stating that, hey, 57.30 is a very difficult level to get over. If we get above that level, then we do have an opportunity to move higher, but that's really most likely going to be a favorable level to look to short against as we move up to it if we see some sort of price reaction. Then conversely, on the downside, obviously we see 5,600, which is significantly below spot price at the moment, where those in the money calls come in and can be supportive. And then we have charm levels at 5,690 and 5,700 on the gamma. So again, to the downside, 5,700 could be a supportive level, round Livermore number where we continue to talk about. So we really set up our if-thens for the day. So moving on to our web app, clearly delineated here with transition area delineated here with our box and auto-generated with our GEX level. Spot price currently pre-market is below transition. As we discussed yesterday, if we open and move below transition, that is a more weakened bearish state. And then we have the opportunity to move down as we have significant amount of puts below us. This is out of the money put speculation. And really don't start to see that level off until around 56.85. So thesis again, game plan for today would be if you move below 5,700, opportunity to move down towards 56.85. And then to the upside, we would see that transition level, and then moving above transition 57.35, 57.40, then you have the opportunity to move up towards 57.50. So moving on to the thesis for today, we'll overview the trading view chart here. I've outlaid the GEX and DEX transition here, and then over our drunken sailor range. I pulled the drunken sailor range down towards 56.90. Taylor and I were discussing this morning that it might be a little bit higher, but I've just set this drunken sailor range for now, and I may adjust this a little bit. But understanding above on the full complex with our trading view overlay, 57.30, 57.35, DEX, GEX here, bottom of transition. Again, we talked about on the net stat command, and then we have the confluence of the gamma and delta transitions. So that's really going to be a line in the sand overhead to try to move above. If we do move above that, then we have an opportunity to move slightly higher. But again, significant amount of in the money puts overhead, negative delta, negative gamma overhead that really can cause, I hate to use the word resistance, but really that friction of moving spot price higher unless we watch the vol M command, which is our intraday volume of market participants. If we do see a positive slope on the call and put centroid, that would indicate that market participants are speculating to the upside. Look at yesterday's vol M command. It opened up and then we quickly moved in negative slopes in the vol M, indicating market participants were speculating to the downside, opening out of the money puts and not out of the money calls. So obviously that produced that negative slope and we traversed down all day. So intraday vol M command, very important to understand what is happening with the volume of options within the overall structure. Are they opening out of the money calls above spot price, which would indicate that market participants are speculating to the upside, or are they opening out of the money puts below us, that negative slope on that red put centroid moving to the downside? So we'll, again, continue to watch this 57.30, 57.35 overhead. 57.45 all the way even up to 57.50, where I anticipate some significant friction of spot price moving up. We're opening at the moment, projected would be 57.02. So moving below 5,700, I'd indicate some more weakness to the downside. And then obviously we'll watch to see what market participants are doing versus vol M command. If they're really speculating to the downside, then we could have more move down towards the 56.50 level, which we have tested multiple times within the past week. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully I was very clear about our game plan for the day, how we're using the tools, how we're looking at the net stat command, how we're looking at the vol M command intraday. So any questions, I'll be in the Discord in a few minutes, and let's make it a great day. Thanks, everybody.